Slowly turning back to sleet and then back to rain. The good news, temperatures will rise.
It's the back end of a storm and it's raining, it's fairly cold, it's wet, it's dark. I had all the reasons in the world screaming at me to stay indoors in the warm and dry today, but we don't dissolve in the rain and my camera's weather sealed, and so I decided to come out to the woods to try and capture some of the mood of the day. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to be photographing, but there's a few puddles around and perhaps I'll try and get some water drops or reflections. But right now I'm just going to walk around and keep my eye out for details and things that stand out. Standing above a puddle here, and in the puddle reflected is this tree that's up above me, and using a slowish shutter speed and a relatively large aperture, I'm getting a depth of field that's going to allow me to focus on the tree, or I think I'm going somewhere in between focusing on the tree and on the surrounding leaves that are in the puddle. But what I really like about it is the warm golden colours from the leaves that are surrounding the puddle here, and also how the water drops are being slightly blurred out. It just gives it this really kind of abstract and unusual look. So it's a fairly persistent rain here, but what's happening is that the water droplets are getting caught on some bare branches of some of the beech trees here that are surrounded by a plantation of fir trees. And I'm thinking that if I expose for those drops of water, underexposing the background, then they're really going to be highlighted. And if I just pick out some nice shapes for the foreground and the background, then I might get something worthwhile. So I decided to go into the patch of fir trees and explore a little bit further, and I'm glad I did, because as I was walking through I noticed a young beech tree that still had its orange leaves on it, and it really stood out in the darkness of the wood. And so I decided to stop and capture a couple of shots, and using my long lens I compressed the fir trees around it, because that's how my eye was seeing it, and it really helped the tree with the leaves on stand out. Now, if I hadn't come to the woods on a day like this, maybe I wouldn't have noticed that, because if the leaves hadn't been wet, I might not have noticed them, or it might not have been as dark inside the wood and it wouldn't have stood out so much. So for that shot alone, I think I'm glad that I came out today. It It can be easier said than done to come out and take images in the rain, and not all cameras are weather sealed, but you can take steps to protect your gear. You can get a cover for your camera, or you can even just put a plastic bag over it. And as long as you're wiping your lens down regularly, then your images are going to come out sharp and fine. And I'm pretty pleased with some of the images that I've got out of today, actually. And I wouldn't have got them if I'd stayed indoors in the warm and dry. And it just goes to show that even in bad weather, something good can come out of it. If this is your first time to my channel, then please consider subscribing. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and share it on social media and to anyone else who you think might like to see it. And thanks for watching.